Yeah, we kind of touched on it in the beginning too. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about the one Phil Brooks returning to the WWE?
That pop was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hunter got everybody. He did the classic. He even jumped in the director's chair, put up the copyright logo, show's over, and then na 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 na. I popped. I was like, fuck. I'm pretty cynical about all this willy woney shit, but at the end of the day, I was like, they did a real good job. I hope for WWE's sake and Phil's sake that it all works out, because you can see what happens when it doesn't.
And then with CM Punk, they were fucking teasing that guy on the show. Because I was telling Dave about it. There were multiple backstage segments, like in between each match, where they were like, dude, Randy's not here. Is Randy going to be here? And then the match started, and they got to the final contestant, and it's still, like, he still wasn't there. And people were fucking chanting for CM Punk and shit. Like, yeah, no shit. And then, Randy came out, had his excellent finale to the War Games match. And then there's CM Punk. But yeah, I mean, they showed that copyright logo, and I was like, all right, I can relax. He's not going to come out. And then and I'm like, fuck, you're kidding me. So
that place came unglued.
Dave, I know you didn't watch Survivor Series, and maybe you'll watch a couple CM Punk segments, but you have anything you're curious about with this CM Punk introduction to WWE?
Yeah. Kind of wish I knew, maybe how long of a contract he negotiated.
I think they're looking at about like 3 years, is what I heard.
Yeah, they said multi-year, so.
I guess something else too, with me being the bigger AEW fan, this must be pretty embarrassing to AEW. Kind of a scar. Do you feel the same way?
I don't. I think it's apples and oranges personally, but
yes and no. If you had asked me that the moment after Punk debuted, I would have said no, because it's like, whatever. Like, they already fired him. He was a problem in AEW, so at least they got rid of him. Now, since then, it's only been like 2 days, but I've been reading up a lot, like just about as much as I can. And supposedly Punk has been saying some shit where it's like AEW was like the little leagues and you couldn't become big in AEW. He only respects the top guys in WWE because they are the top guys in WWE. So it's like shit like that where it's like if he comes out with more shit like that, and let's say he just buries AEW, I don't think they will, because WWE never mentions the other brand, but if he just buries AEW, I think then it would, but we're not there yet. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be kind of a blow to AEW. Like, at one point, they had CM Punk in their company returning after 7 years. You can't really beat his return on Rampage in 2021. Like, I watched the WWE debut the other night, and to me, it really didn't have as much impact. After he was literally on TV 3 months ago. So, but yeah, I thought it was a little interesting too about the Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre, them being a little angry with the situation. Do you think they're both a work?
I'll tell you why. So we'll get to Rollins first, because that's a bit more easier to kind of point out, because he's been saying for months that he was throwing pot shots at Punk. Like, he called him a cancer and shit like that. And then he's flipping it off. He was angry. He had to be escorted backstage. I think the men in the match knew that Punk was going to be there right before they went out. So the entire time in the match, they knew. So I'm sure they were like, okay, how are we going to respond to this, amp this up, and make it a little bit about myself, which isn't a bad thing in wrestling. You are selling yourself. So, I mean, I kind of give Seth Rollins kudos for it because he's like, I'll just pretend to be super fucking pissed. I don't want to see this guy. And then at the house show they did, which is always like kind of like a flag. If they mention it on a program, they're probably going to do something about it. So Rollins was like, I don't have anything to say about people who left this company and have nothing to add. So it's like, ooh. And then the Drew McIntyre one, you know, that one was also caught on camera, but it was just him storming off. Like it's like bell rings, 10 seconds later, he's up the ramp. That he also mentioned at the house show on Sunday last night because he was like, yeah, you guys probably saw me storm the ring. So it's one of those things where like, I don't think they would be like, oh, my real person stormed the ring. And he stormed it before Punk came out. So was it in response to Punk? Maybe it was just him wanting to get out of the way. So I personally, Seth Rollins is like 100% of work. McIntyre is like 95% of work, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, like specifically Seth. He's a company man and he's a Triple H guy. Like, you know him and Triple H probably had at least a bit of a conversation of like this is what we want you to do kind of thing. Because yeah, no, I think even if Seth had a real problem with CM Punk, I think he's too much of a professional to like let it come in his way. But who knows? I could be wrong.
Well, you got theoretically, say Rollins keeps that silly title on him till Mania. You got Punk and Rollins in the main event of night one. Punk gets his long-awaited main event. Doesn't matter if he loses. I mean, I don't know if I want the Rollins reign to get to Mania, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like, there's main event night one, Cody Roman main events night two. Like, it is kind of all lining up, but
Yeah.
I'm still interested in see where it goes.
Other than Rollins and Drew McIntyre, what are some other possible feuds we can get? Nakamura,
Cody.
that's really not on the table anymore, or
Oh, it could be.
Yeah, there's a lot of time between now and WrestleMania. They can do some like little short-term stuff.
Well, Cody's got to do something from now until at least Rumble, because even if he doesn't win the Rumble, he's gonna be a big part of it. And even if he doesn't win the Elimination Chamber, he's gonna be a big part of it. So, you know, in the 2 months before then, I don't think Cody and CM Punk ever locked horns. That'd be good promos.
Yeah. Speaking of promos, the one I want to see the most is CM Punk and LA Knight. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he'll be a Raw guy, but still, that would cook.
Yeah.
As the kiddies say. Even like Roman Reigns. I mean, Roman Reigns is a completely like you had Roman Reigns in the shit 2010s. Then you have Roman Reigns when CM Punk was around, where he was super cool and badass, and then he had his shit run. Then COVID, and now he's back and he's fantastic. So I want to see that Roman Reigns against. I mean, CM Punk is always CM Punk, but CM Punk.
Yeah, no, Jesus. Yeah, Roman can actually talk on the mic now, which apparently I can't. Jesus. Like that'd actually be interesting to see.
You also have Paul Heyman.
undoubtedly on Raw, here comes CM Punk. Music hits wherever they're at, crowd goes crazy. He goes to the ring, sits down in the middle with the mic. How does he not sound like a hypocrite saying, you know, all the things he said about WWE? Specifically, they're always going to be like this. They're never going to change. They're not healthy. It's not a good place. How does he not sound like a hypocrite tonight?
To me, I'm gonna bring up the only other comparison. So sorry to keep talking about Cody, but you know, I did follow Cody's career for a while. I know at least in AEW, he was a rambunctious boy. He smashed the throne with a sledgehammer and shit like that. So he was pretty anti WWE, and then he left AEW. And I guess the way he phrased it, where he was like, "I just want the title my dad didn't hold," and at least that's what he said. I'm sure there's other reasons like money and shit, but at least that was enough for me to go, you know what? I can buy it. Like, you signed yourself out of that AEW championship. You want the top championship no matter what promotion you're in. He left AEW, go to WWE, win that title. So I don't know how CM Punk will not look like a hypocrite. He already does look like a hypocrite, but maybe he'll cut such a good promo that we won't worry about it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think he'll do. Is he's just going to rely on his charisma and his promo skills. Probably just going to no sell it and just go on with business and just kind of ignore it because him. He once he gets going on the mic, you kind of forget about all the rest of that shit. At least I did when he came into AEW. I was like, guy's kind of a dick, but I can't stop watching him. He's still so good.
Kind of the way I look at it, AEW is not competition, they're an alternative. But the ball is in AEW's court now. Like, how do they respond? Like, what can they need to do something big in my mind to get some attention. MJF was pretty popular news there for a little while, but yeah, overshadowed now.
I kind of disagree with that just a little bit because I mean, AEW did just sign Will Ospreay a few weeks ago. Like that's not CM Punk, but that's about as close as you can get to CM Punk with free agents right now. Like
Monet would be the thing.
I think maybe Monet, except there's a lot of reports she's going to WWE. I think you just maybe double down on your talent. Say, hey, MJF has signed. Like you announced that full stop. MJF, there was no bidding war of 2024. He's AEW bound because everyone believes it. So
Yeah, for me, you just no sell it. Just focus on yourself. Because this is just a moment in time. It's a short term pop, and then what? Like you need to project with the bigger picture in mind, which is focus on yourself, put up consistently good shows, have good storytelling, and because shit, that's kind of what WWE's been doing, and that increases your overall big picture. Like one pop, like a year, 2 years, 10 years from now, the CM Punk pop will, it is what it is, but it doesn't translate into a good product years from now, which is really what they need to do is focus on yourself, make the best show you can, and like long term that sets you up for success.
I think for me, if I were Tony Khan and CM Punk just was signed and I have a few days till Dynamite, I would rally all my boys in the Continental Classic and just say, hey, go out there and have pay-per-view matches. I'm not saying they haven't been, but like go out there and fucking kill it.
Gotcha. Well, yeah. That was the big news of the weekend going into the beginning of the week. CM Punk back in WWE. We'll see where it goes.